accounting, and we go into our chart of accounts, accounts plus minus, right up here to accounts payable vendors. Before we do that, I just want to explain we're dealing with a check from a lost paycheck from January 31st of 2024 for one of our employees. Okay. Again, while I could do that, I don't have to do it in payroll. I can do it all in accounting. So we're going to enter new vendor here. I would search. So, if I go, well, I'm not sure if this is an employee that I've paid before through accounting, but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in Lisa, and I don't have Lisa Young in my chart of accounts as a vendor. So we're going to add that. Okay, so we're going to go to a chart of accounts, accounts plus minus, accounts payable vendors. Going to type in Lisa Young. Okay, and we're going to add account. If I need to, over here on the right, once I've added the vendor to my chart of accounts under accounts payable, I can come over here and enter address information or city, state, or zip or other information. We don't have that information now. I just need to get Lisa a check for, replacement check for that amount of the check she lost back in January. Still hasn't cleared the bank. So I've now done that. All right. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to enter a journal entry by going up to transactions, other, and I can choose one of two options. I could choose adjust asset, but I'm actually going to choose a journal entry transaction, not payroll journal entry, just either journal entry or adjust asset. Okay, but there's a specific reason why I'm going to choose journal entry. Okay, and I'm going to show you here in a minute. So she's come to me now, and I called her about it last week, and I said, hey, the check from January 31st hasn't been cashed. Do you have that paycheck? Can you please cash it? It's about ready to stale date, and it hasn't cleared. And can you please clear, that? Well, I don't have that check anymore. So she goes, okay, can you please write me a replacement check? Sure, no problem. So today, I'm going to enter today's date as my date occurred, because that's the date I told her, I said, come on in here on Tuesday. I'll have a replacement check waiting for you. So here I go into transaction comments. I'm going to put in a comment of adjustment for lost paycheck number, 978653 from 01/31/24. Okay. So here under accounts, I'm going to choose my Huntington Bank checking account because that's the account that the check was written from originally. So I'm adding the money back. So in order to add the money back to my checking account, I'm going to be putting that in the debit amount column. The check amount originally, net pay, not gross, net. The amount of the check itself was $530. I could and can enter line item comments, but I'm happy with my transaction comments. Click the plus sign. Here I'm now going to choose the vendor account I've just set up for Lisa. And I'm going to put the same $530 in the credit amount column. Okay. And I'm going to click Done Add to Batch. And as I said, there's a reason why I've done this under journal entry versus adjust asset. The adjust asset's a journal entry too. But the difference here is when I add it to my batch and I click Show Running Balance, we now see here that my Huntington Bank checking is increased by $530. I've added the money back. And Lisa now had a current balance of 0 and now has an adjusted balance of $530 ready for me to write a new check for her. Okay, so it's doing exactly what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and post this. I'm not going to print the journal entry transaction report for time and expediency here. So I'm going to close my running balance window, close my journal entry window. And the final step of this process for me here now, in order to get her a check, okay, print her a check, is I'm going to go to Pay Bills, right up here to Quick Pay, and View Vendors with a Balance. She only will appear here, folks, under View Vendors with a Balance. There's no bill entered for this, okay? So the only way it'll appear is right here under View Vendors with a Balance, and sure enough, right here's Lisa for $530. So I put a check mark in here onto the left and click Create Payments, moving my from left to right here. Sure, today's date occurred is fine. My vendor information is right. My checking account is correct. I have to click where it says amount to pay and type in the amount of my check, okay, that I want for her. Because there's not a bill, the software doesn't presume that I want to pay the vendor the actual balance of their account. Okay, so the amount to pay when it's done this way is always going to reflect as 0 until you enter it. Okay, so here I then choose my payment method. Sure, computer check is fine. Of course, no check or reference number is entered here, and I can type in some comments that will print on the stub. Replacement. Sorry, folks, typing challenges today. Check for lost check. Oh, having trouble typing today. Lost check, paycheck from 01/31/24. Okay. And now I've got that ready to go. I can now click on post and print checks. Not going to print my payments posted report, albeit I could. So if I were to print that and close out of it, it now opens up my print checks window. It'll take a few seconds here. Come on. Okay, there it is. So I've got another one for another vendor here. But if I'm ready to print Lisa's and not Columbia Gas, I can just uncheck that, give my get starting check number and choose my appropriate check layout, click print her a check, and distribute that, give her that new replacement check for her net pay. Finally, before we wrap up our topic for today, how I would handle this now on, once I print this, and then once I get to my bank reconciliation, say for June, right, I'm going to see that journal entry deposit that I did to add the 530 back. So along with all my deposits that are on my actual June statement, I have to make a note for myself to clear the $530 deposit that is now there for June. And I'm going to go over to my withdrawals for June and clear the lost check from January simultaneously. Those two transactions wash one another out, okay? They don't affect my bank reconciliation at all. And I only clear the new check, the replacement check that I've printed for Lisa in the statement period or on the bank statement period where that actually occurs. If it's in June, I'll clear all three transactions, the deposit and both checks. But if she doesn't cash it till July, then I'll wait and hold off and clear that new check in July when it appears, okay? So hopefully, folks, that's pretty clear as to what to do there. Again, payroll's not been affected in all this, okay? We are just replacing her check. If I want, I can go back into payroll. I can go back. I've not affected anything there. I can reprint the check stub from January 31st if I wish, right? I can go right here into payroll, and I can go to print checks. No, print checks and do reprint stubs and print a replacement stub to plain paper for her to confirm what was actually included on that pay and to show, hey, was your check amount, and here's how it was broken down, taxes and all that other stuff if I want. But if I don't want to do that, I don't have to. I can just give her a check and we're good. But it's your choice, folks. So, all right, with a few minutes left, I am going to end our topic there.